Just shave it, Will.
Okay, just shut up about the hair.
What hair?
Before anyone could recover from the chaos of the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary, Conan O'Brien dove right into the heart of it.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I fucking hate them.
They should hope that the kid looks more like Meghan than Harry. No offense, but Harry kind of looks like the guy who played Screech, may he rest in peace.
And what followed was a masterclass in comedic destruction. The jokes came fast, cutting deep, and sparing no one. Even before Conan spoke, the mood had already shifted. Across the entertainment world, people were done pretending that the Sussex saga was still relatable. Comedian Simon Brodkin had already summed it up perfectly. He said that before watching the documentary, he wasn't a fan, but after hearing their side of the story, he ended up hating them even more. That single line captured what millions silently felt. The royal couple set out to inspire empathy, and instead ignited the opposite.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Brodkin didn't just stop there. He painted the royals as the British equivalent of the Kardashians, calling Prince Harry their Kanye. Unpredictable, dramatic, and occasionally caught wearing something catastrophically stupid. He mocked NBC's announcement of a new Suits spin-off focused on Meghan Markle's character trying to balance her legal career with caring for an unemployed immigrant.
The royal family, right, if you can imagine, they're like our Kardashian. Prince Harry is very much our Kanye. He occasionally dresses as a Nazi, and he f***ed up.
The joke practically wrote itself, a flawless blend of sarcasm and truth. Then he went after the infamous H&M nicknames, recalling how the pair began by discussing racism and misogyny, and then suddenly called each other by corporate brand initials. His reaction was blunt. Oh, do off. Any credibility they'd built dissolved in seconds. Brodkin's commentary reached its peak when he quoted Harry describing his first date with Meghan. Me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. The audience winced just imagining it. Brodkin quipped that it was so bad he actually started rooting for Prince Andrew, the ultimate insult in British comedy.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. But not too far.
What?
The best thing is, no more following Granny's rules.
You sure about that?
If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
That's how cringe-inducing the documentary's dialogue had become. Then came Meghan's supposed shock at discovering she'd have to curtsy to the Queen. Harry described it as if it were an impossible cultural hurdle, while Meghan framed it like an alien concept.
They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H&M, and I just thought, oh, do f*** off.
How do you explain that to an American? Brodkin fired back that maybe Harry could start by saying, "My grandmother is the Queen of England." Meghan attended Northwestern University. She's not ignorant. A quick Google search could have answered every question.
Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, "Me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew."
The idea that she was blindsided by basic royal etiquette was absurd.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
The mockery only escalated when the couple complained about paying for their own security. Brodkin captured the public's frustration. Two multimillionaires whining about funding their own protection. He joked that after 6 episodes, he wanted to attack them. The humor was brutal but honest. It reflected how draining their constant self-pity had become. And then came the knockout line. If you weren't in the royal family, M wouldn't be with you. It was surgical, the kind of truth that lands harder than any punchline. Because beneath the laughter, that's what everyone suspected. That Meghan wasn't chasing Harry, the person, but Harry, the prince. Without the crown, he'd just be another wealthy man in Los Angeles, and the cameras wouldn't care.
Harry says, how do you explain to someone who's just started dating that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother?
How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother and that you will need to curtsy
especially to an American. Like, that's weird.
And I'm thinking, maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the fucking queen.
But Simon wasn't alone. The comedy world was lining up, and every punch was sharper than the last. Chris Rock took his turn, dissecting Meghan's endless victim narrative. Didn't she hit the light-skinned lottery? He asked. And she's still complaining? The crowd roared because it was the kind of truth nobody else dared to say. Rock mocked her infamous Oprah interview, where Meghan claimed she didn't know the royal family was racist.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things after 6 episodes. I wanted to attack her. I don't know how to break this to you, H. But if you weren't in the royal family, M wouldn't be with you.
You didn't Google them, he asked. It's the royal family. Rock's timing was perfect. Every line exposed the absurdity of Meghan's story, the pretense of innocence, the shock at discovering old traditions in an institution built entirely on them. And then he twisted the knife further. Meghan said the royals questioned what color her baby might be.
Meghan Markle. Seemed like a nice lady, just complaining. I was like, didn't she hit the light-skin lottery? And still going on complaining, acting all dumb like she don't know nothing.
Rock replied, that's not racist. Even black families ask how brown the baby's going to be. It was devastatingly funny and completely disarmed her most serious accusation.
On Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
Colin Jost joined the pile-on with his SNL jab. Britain's agreed to reopen trade with the U.S. as long as we keep these two.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
The subtlety made it sting more. Neither side wanted them back. Jost went even deeper with another joke, comparing Harry's life choices to Elon Musk's. Elon had Tesla and SpaceX, and he threw it away for Twitter. Harry had royalty and gave it all up to marry an actor from Suits.
So racist, they wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Cause even black people wanna know how brown the baby gonna be. Shit.
Elon built electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
I think Harry's a f***ing twat. I do.
In one line, their grand love story turned into a cautionary tale about catastrophic decision-making. Then Kelly Osbourne brought pure, unfiltered fury. Harry's a whiner, she said flatly. He's always complaining. Woe is me, I'm the only one with mental health problems. Her words hit because they stripped away the gloss and left only entitlement. Everybody's life is hard, she continued. You were a prince, dressed as a Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope. Suck it.
He's a whining, whinging, complaining, woe is me, I'm the only one that's ever had mental problems. Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's f***ing life is hard.
Yeah,
you were
true.
the prince of
That's
a goddamn country who dressed up as a f***ing Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
It wasn't just a roast. It was public exhaustion being voiced out loud. And as if the comedians hadn't said enough, the Golden Globes threw their own punch through host Joe Coy. Netflix paid Harry and Meghan $100 million, he said, for doing absolutely nothing. The audience, full of actors, writers, and creators who actually have to deliver, erupted in laughter. It wasn't just a joke anymore. It was industry consensus. Saturday Night Live took its turn, mocking Meghan's acting career. My Brother's Fiancé is on Suits, Wednesdays on the USA Network. The difference is, people watch this one.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
The joke hit a nerve because it was true. Suits became famous only after Meghan became royal. And when SNL added that Meghan's show could put children to sleep faster than bedtime stories, it was a comedic funeral for her Hollywood career. As the roast marathon rolled on, more comedians joined the chaos and every punchline hit closer to home. Jimmy Carr, known for his razor-sharp delivery, went straight for Meghan's contradictions. She's a lifelong feminist, he said, and she proved it by marrying a prince and giving up her job. The audience roared because that one line exposed the entire irony of her public image.
My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this.
Meghan had built a brand around independence and empowerment, then abandoned her career to become a duchess. Carr's delivery was merciless, but the message was clear. It's hard to preach feminism when your most famous career move is marrying royalty.
Whenever the kids are being fussy and not going to bed, she puts on an episode of Suits and they're out. So, what are you doing? Ow! Stop it! Yeah. Stop it!
Then he hit their supposed financial independence, mocking their plan to split time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada. It was the perfect summation of their contradictions. They'd left the royal family to be free, yet expected everyone else to keep funding their freedom.
I said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
The audience didn't even need to laugh. The silence afterward was enough. And then things got even stranger.
Harry and Meghan say they'd now like to split their time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada.
Joe Rogan, the last person anyone expected to be dragged into royal drama, had suddenly found himself the target of Prince Harry's criticism. He recalled, "I just woke up one day, turned on the TV, and there's Prince Harry talking about me." The sheer randomness of it was hilarious. A man who supposedly left the spotlight to live privately now taking shots at podcasters on American television.
One time, I just woke up, I'm in my underwear, I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. The moment I turn it on, Prince Harry's talking shit about me. I'm like, he's like, Joe Rogan's giving out dangerous vaccine misinformation. And my first thought was, did I? I might have.
Rogan couldn't even take it seriously. He said I was giving out dangerous misinformation, Rogan laughed. And I thought, yeah, maybe I did.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
His half-joking, half-sincere response went viral instantly. It perfectly captured how unserious the world had started to take Harry's crusades. But the roasting didn't stop at words. Even the royal couple's personal quirks became comedy gold. Late-night hosts couldn't resist the couple's ridiculous nicknames, H and M. Meghan had revealed in interviews that they call each other by those initials, presenting it as if it were some deep romantic code.
Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism.
I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures, so I found the museum employee who's temporarily storing them.
Conan O'Brien mocked it effortlessly. A mystery for the ages, he said dryly. Turns out they're just their initials. That simple observation hit harder than any insult, because it showed just how self-important every small detail of their life had become. Then Jimmy Kimmel came in swinging with one of the sharpest lines of the night. He said Harry claimed racism was a big part of their decision to leave the UK. You know things are bad at Buckingham Palace, Kimmel joked, if they moved to America to escape racism. The entire audience erupted. The logic was ridiculous, and Kimmel knew it. He twisted the knife further with a jab at Harry's looks, saying he hoped their kids would take after Meghan.
Oliver, you have generously offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I may, I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex.
Because Harry, with all due respect, looked like the guy who played Screech from Saved by the Bell. It was a perfectly timed insult, half playful, half cutting.
They are in a loving home, and I treat them better than the museum ever did. They didn't appreciate Meghan's soft hands or Harry's supple lips.
But Conan O'Brien, the one whose roast the video centered on, took it to another level. With his trademark absurdity, he wondered aloud what had happened to Harry and Meghan's wax figures after they were removed from Madame Tussauds. Conan introduced a fake museum worker claiming to be temporarily storing the figures.
Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime. Is this true? If so,
Yes, she has.
how?
The setup was already funny, but the delivery took it over the edge. The man immediately clarified, and if I may, I'd just like to say I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex stuff. Conan didn't even need to add anything. The absurdity spoke for itself. The denial was so specific, so unprompted, that it made the audience howl. Conan pushed the bit further, pretending to interview the man as he described treating the wax figures.
Well, she came into New York last weekend.
Yeah.
And she went to a yoga place called Moto Yoga, which is my yoga place. It's where I always go.
Better than the museum ever did. He spoke about Meghan's soft hands and Harry's supple lips.
They have places in LA and New York, but now that she went there, everyone's going to want to go there.
Right.
And there's not going to be any room. It's going to be harder to get into.
With the kind of exaggerated sincerity that only Conan could pull off. It was weird, uncomfortably specific, and hysterical. That mix of odd intimacy and surreal humor was what made Conan's roast stand out. It wasn't just ridicule, it was creative mockery, turning royal gossip into late-night art. Then came one of the strangest but funniest anecdotes in the whole saga. Actress Alexandra Daddario revealed that Meghan Markle had ruined her workout routine.
Got out of copping and then became a food broker, which we're like, come on, that's CIA, right?
Yes.
And he's
food
like, no,
brokers.
I really am a middleman for jars of jam.
He works for Meghan Markle.
Yes.
Really
My dad-
tiny jams, harvestable jams.
Yes, exactly.
Made from the oils of Montecito.
When she said it, even James Corden looked confused. But her explanation was peak Meghan chaos. Meghan had shown up at Moto Yoga in New York, the exact studio Alexandra had gone to for years. And just like that, the place exploded in popularity.
Well, what's brilliant about what she's doing is she knows people want to spend money, and spending money makes them feel like they're getting something that's better, even though it might not necessarily be true. She just thinks we're all monsters, and we're all just kind of pigs in the mud, and that she's helping us with jam and honey.
Fans, paparazzi, influencers, everyone wanted to go where Meghan went. Suddenly, Alexandra couldn't even get into her own yoga class. That was the Meghan effect in action. Chaos, crowds, and inconvenience left in her wake. And then, just when people thought the ridicule couldn't get more specific, Conan and Ryan Reynolds delivered the knockout. During a conversation, Ryan casually mentioned that his father had once changed careers and become a food broker, a middleman for jars of jam. Without missing a beat, Conan jumped in. He works for Meghan Markle. The timing was perfect. Reynolds burst out laughing, immediately joining in. Yes, tiny jams, harvestable jams, Conan added, made from the oils of Montecito. The entire exchange was comedy perfection, fast, effortless, and laced with the exact kind of self-aware absurdity that defines late-night brilliance. The roast didn't just mock Meghan's products, it exposed the pretentiousness of her entire brand. She wasn't selling jam, she was selling an overpriced fantasy. Conan's offhand joke captured the truth better than any exposé. Meghan's lifestyle business wasn't about what was in the jar, but about convincing people they were buying into an elite way of life. Tim Dillon later explained this psychology perfectly. She knows people will spend money just to feel superior, even when they're not getting anything better. And that was the real punchline of the entire saga. Meghan's brand wasn't just about luxury, it was about hierarchy, a soft, polite form of elitism that sold the illusion of refinement. Dillon went even further, saying she saw regular people as monsters, pigs in the mud, and that she was helping them with jam and honey. That final line summed up everything: the self-importance, the tone deafness, the disconnect between her image and reality. By the end, what started as comedy had turned into commentary. Reports surfaced that their massive deals were collapsing, that Netflix had lost interest, that King Charles had cut off financial support, and that Hollywood was quietly closing its doors. The couple's fame, once fueled by sympathy, had curdled into fatigue. Their every move became material for punchlines, their names, metaphors for entitlement. Conan's roast didn't just make people laugh, it marked the cultural shift. The world wasn't angry anymore, it was amused. And that, for public figures who built their empire on outrage, was the worst twist of all.